Jeez.
Yeah.
So that's $33,000 potentially per month. I am with Aileen. We're recording a live Instagram live all about residential assisted living facilities. So if you ever wanted to get into that, I'm going to interview her and have our audience interview her as well. So hope you enjoy. Wait, is this the first time you're going on Instagram Live?
Yeah, I've never been on Instagram Live.
I probably should have told you beforehand. All of your followers get a notification that you're live.
Oh, okay. Cool, that's fun and exciting.
All right, so the question I had is that everyone is saying that short-term rentals are overly saturated, but what about residential assisted living facilities? How can you tell which markets will have kind of the hottest demand for RCFE?
So for RCFE, location-wise, you mean? We're in the Bay Area, right? Some people who have facilities or homes are usually out of state, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think people are afraid of venturing in California because everything is so high. But I usually tell people that, yeah, you can charge $5,000 to $7,000 per resident per bed. Yeah, I think it's just all about education, and that's what we're here for, right? Educating people what the price range is, how much they can make off of one single family home, and I think that the need is definitely there. We're short 1.3 million beds in the United States alone, so there's a huge need for sure.
So if you're struggling with your Smoky Mountains short-term rentals and you have some medical experience or not, you can find someone with it that could help. And then I asked her to give me a quick overview of the numbers, like how much money can you actually expect to make? So you said that per resident, so residential assisted living, you are providing healthcare and a living scenario for depending on the asset that you're running to individuals.
Yes.
Like what's the lowest amount you can charge per resident and what's the highest amount you've seen?
So from what I've seen, we're in Vallejo. So the lowest is probably about $4,500 up to maybe about $6,500. And that depends on the level of care. So if someone needs maybe memory care or they are bedridden or they can get out of bed, so you would add an additional the base price and then add like maybe $500 or $1,000. Or if they want a separate room, like they want a private room, so then you would add another $500. But the lowest is probably about $4,000. Okay,
and then how many patients can you have?
We can have up to 6 residents in an assisted living facility. So patients are in a hospital and patients are in a skilled nursing facility. But we are in the process of expanding to 2 more rooms or adding 2 more rooms based on the expansion grant in California. Yeah, so we'll be adding 4 more beds and 2 more bedrooms.
So for the quick math for here, 6 times, let's just say 5,500 just for fun in Vallejo. Jeez.
Yeah.
So that's $33,000 potentially per month. And then of course, it's not what you make, but it's what you're keeping. So what are the expenses? That seems like a lot of work.
Yes.
What are you paying for?
So our mortgage is about $3,500 a month. And then, let's see, groceries is probably about $1,000, maybe $900 a month.
Hold on, wait. First what you said again was, I was waving to comments on Instagram.
Yes, $3,500.
Okay, for your mortgage.
Mortgage, yes. And then about $1,000 for groceries, and then about maybe $900 to $1,100, depending on the time of the year, for utilities. And then the caregivers, we pay. So we have 2 caregivers, and we pay them about $3,500 a month.
Okay, each or total?
Total.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, each.
Okay, plus 35 times 2. Okay. So that means all in expenses anywhere between say $12,000 and $15,000.
Yes.
So almost 50% of the operating income ends up being what the expenses are, and the rest is business profit.
Yes.
And there's taxes and stuff like that, but.
Yes, and then insurance, it's like maybe $400 a month. What else? And there might be some miscellaneous items, like if we have to hire a plumber, something that's clogged, or I don't know, the refrigerator breaks. This happens maybe more often than you think because there are a lot of people living in the home. So then if we add more beds, more bedrooms, yes, of course, like our grocery bill will probably go up, our PG&E bill will probably go up a little bit. And then, there isn't really very many miscellaneous items. We do provide all of the PE, materials.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube or live on Instagram, if you're comparing short-term rentals to RCFE, which I don't think you really can because it is a completely different business, but that is a really awesome amount of cash flow, but obviously the responsibility is a lot more. Our hot tub breaking versus obviously taking care of someone's life is very different. And then now we go back to Instagram Live where Marcella asked, does the regulatory groups inspect your property regularly, and how many hours do you personally spend on it? Okay, so let's talk about inspections.
Okay.
What does that look like in general?
We have the pre-inspection every year, and then they do their yearly inspection, and they only come out if there are any complaints reports from the residents or the residents' families or the ombudsman or maybe the council, which there usually is like a resident council, and there hasn't been any in like our 2 years of experience. My parents haven't had any, and so I always tell people a great exercise would be to go on whatever your state is. So ours is Department of Social Services, and you can, it's all public records. So I would check every facility in California to what they've been dinged for, and if they were like fined for anything. And don't do any of those items. Exactly. And then every time our licensing agent comes, it's really great. We have a great reputation. So it's like 45 minutes and she's done. But she has mentioned that in the past, she has spent maybe 3 or 4 hours during an inspection. But I always tell people, if you want to get into the business, look at your state website, and it's all public record. So do everything that other facilities did wrong, and don't do that.
The answers are out there, right? Whatever business you're running, you can figure out what people have gotten busted for or in trouble for, and you can change that up. But then I had to know, how much time are you actually spending managing your assisted living facility? I guess there's the admin hours, like the actual in the facility, and there's the kind of business oversight hours. So on a quick ballpark, what would you say? Okay,
it probably depends state by state, but for California, they require you to be at each facility at least 20 hours per week. But I'd say I'm probably there maybe like 1 hour a day, 1 or 2 hours a day, if that's fair to say,
But I mean, everything else, ordering groceries, everything like that, could be done from a remote office if needed.
Exactly.
Natalie asks, does Medicare pay any of the patient's living costs, or is it all personal payout out of pocket? And do you get any government funding?
Yeah, you can get government funding. Usually it is private pay. Some comes from the government, some comes from the Social Security, and then some of the residents, their families pay. So there are programs out there. So I would suggest you go on your state website and look up. I was trying to do some homework and research before I even came, because someone was asking me for Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and it's just so different. So I am going to do my part and maybe post more per state if you guys ask, and then I will maybe tag you guys on some of the grants that are available for each state, because it varies from state to state.
Oh, and then I heard that California just got passed some crazy grant. So here's what I asked her. What's the California grant that just got passed?
Oh, okay, so it's a 2023 preservation expansion grant for residential assisted living facilities. And I think they're approving about $100,000 to $300,000 in the state of California, and the deadline was on the 17th of July, but now I think it's tomorrow, which is Monday, whatever the date is.
Okay, they have 1 day left to get $300,000 from the state. You may have missed the boat, but I'm sure there's going to be more. What are the questions are here? Jesse's saying keeping them from going back to hospitals, plus they catch potential health issues.
Exactly.
Julio is saying, do you have any specific generic spreadsheet that breaks down the numbers? Do you have a spreadsheet to calculate everything?
I do. Yeah. You can email me or text me. I have it. A lot of people ask for it, so I can send it to you directly.
If you want to get a link to that analysis spreadsheet that she's talking about, I'll link her profile down below. Just do me a favor. When you DM her, make sure you let her know that you came from Josh's YouTube video. And now we're going back to Instagram Live. Dino Riviero says, what are the process in getting a license if converting residential house? What's the process?
Oh, you mean converting your primary residence into an assisted living facility?
Yes.
Oh, okay. If is it a 1-story home? So does it meet the ADA requirements?
So what's the first step?
The first step of what, converting your home?
Yeah, so she was thinking about, can my home be used? What is the first thing you tell her to do?
Make sure that it's 1-story, because a lot of people have 2-story homes. And if it's a 1-story, usually I think the next step is, we just make sure that everyone who is in a wheelchair or a walker can maneuver around the hallways and rooms, bedrooms, bathrooms, and there's ramps in the front and back, and there's nothing that, I think in one of our first properties, we had a bunch of rocks that was just from the previous owners. So the licensing agent came and she said, it's not a big deal, I won't put it on the report, but just make sure that you get rid of all these rocks, because if there's an emergency, you want to make sure that nothing is obstructing any of the of the doors. You have door alarms, smoke detectors, the usual, and then I think everything else is just pretty standard, except for the grab bars. Again, everything is slip resistant.
So there's a lot of steps. We're gonna go rapid fire questions. You ready? First one, with each caregiver, what if one or both call off, how would you handle? Oh, okay. So I guess if they don't show up or
Okay.
have to be sick,
Yeah.
what happens?
So that usually doesn't happen. And I always tell people, like, you have to train your staff well and you have
Okay.
to hire the right people. But if that were to happen, then we would have to step in and we would have to be the caregiver, or we would just have a backup list of on-call caregivers. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the same for, I think, almost any single business, whether it be the owner or somebody else, but you have to have backups of the backups of the backups.
Yes.
Well, it says, what is the first 5 steps for opening? I feel like 5 is too many steps.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What are the first couple steps?
Okay, so take your course to be an administrator.
Which course?
It is the administrator RCFE
Okay.
course, and you would have to complete, in the state of California, it is 80 hours, and then you would have to take the state exam and submit all of your paperwork to the state.
Okay.
And then it's like $100 just to submit your application. What's after that? I usually find your facility. And I always tell people to do like their due diligence, see what facilities are in your area, and people always take the next step and be like, oh, I either have a home or can I use this home, or maybe I'm using this for a long-term facility.
Yeah.
Can I make this into a residential? And I'm like, yeah. And then we'll do like a market assessment, and then we'll do like a home assessment.
There were a lot of steps. I helped her make a mini course, so I'm gonna keep pitching it. So if you want the rest of the steps, DM her for the mini course link.
Yes.
And it is a free mini course, which is fun. Where do you find your residents?
So we got our most recent resident from a case manager who has worked with us in the past.
Okay.
And so she referred us. I think it is just like relationships and word of mouth. People in like healthcare who discharge patients on the regular basis who maybe don't have a home or family or anyone to stay with. So yeah, usually we get calls all the time and our residents come from, or you can get like residents from a placement agency.
Eileen, real quick, where can people find you?
They can find me at Aileen.Grimesey on Instagram. I don't know, what is my YouTube? I don't know my
It's the
YouTube.
same as her name. I should know. I
Yeah,
manage
it's
it,
usually
so
the
there you
same
go.
thing. And then TikTok is the same thing. Or Safe Haven Residential, Aileen Grimesey.
I hope you found that valuable. But yes, overall, assisted living is an extremely important business. It's a hard business, but it is also a rewarding business, both monetarily and in the service that you're providing for families. Aileen is hosting a meetup on August 19th in the Bay Area. I'll click that link down below. So if you want more content about real estate investing and marketing, make sure to subscribe. My name is Josh Baldovino. I'm an investor myself and a marketer, and I will see you all on the next one. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Fun.
That was it?
Yeah, I totally can't do that myself. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you do that.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna do a quick outro, and then we'll be done. Like, we're still recording on YouTube.
Oh, shoot.